Do you know how government buying has changed in India because of Digital India? How government is procuring a lot of its needs online? In this episode, I hosted India's one of India's leading bidding experts, to understand how government procurement has changed in India thanks to GEM, Government E-Marketplace. Join me. Digital procurement, e-procurement. You briefly touched upon GEM, Government E-Marketplace. Tell us, what is GEM? Is it different from e-tendering the government was doing earlier? And how it has changed in the last, say, 12 to 24 months?
It's a very good question, and I would like all the participants to, understand what is GEM and explore and exploit GEM. Okay, GEM is there is only one GEM. There are no multiple GEMs. It's called Government E-Marketplace. As the word comes in E-Marketplace, okay. So what is a marketplace? Where you go, there are showrooms. You are able to see the products. Okay. Similarly, an E-Marketplace is somebody like Amazon or Flipkart or Mintra, where we go, we see the products to upload the products. So how GEM functions is, let's say we create an account, which is called a login. Okay, then we create our product catalog because it's an e-marketplace, right? I have to showcase my products. So let's say my products are, for example, computers or laptops or printers. I can upload them, okay, and it's available in a catalog. So what is the catalog? So catalog is basically it carries the product make and model with the specifications, the offered price at which I want to sell it to the market, and then which geographies that product is available from my side. So the government, what how the government was procuring earlier. So let's say government wanted to buy a Bluetooth speaker, okay, to be given to the students, for example. Okay, now earlier they had not known the market. So let's say somebody sitting in Faridabad, a school teacher or a school principal wants to buy a Bluetooth speaker. He or she has never gone through that speaker ever. Okay, so what they used to do is, whosoever were their suppliers, who were their stationery suppliers or uniform suppliers, they will only tell them, and they will procure whatever knowledge these guys will bring on table. That will be the best knowledge available to them. Okay, so the government saw that there is a bottleneck. We need to break this ceiling. So they created a e-marketplace. Now that principal doesn't have to consult anybody. He simply goes to the GEM site, okay, and sees the market himself. If you allow me, I'll just share a glimpse of it. Okay, so let's say I'm looking for a Bluetooth speaker. And if you see over here, I've got the market. See how easy it has become, and I can sort of click here and get the details. What are the specifications of this Bluetooth speaker? And there could be various specifications, and I can pick and choose out of those.
So how does GEM help a local player, local company like me? I may have 200, 300 crore worth of revenue from a single product, but I'm based in one location. So I understand Haryana, UP, because they're all my neighboring states. How does GEM help somebody like me to scale beyond my state boundaries or regional bias?
Okay, first of all, let me tell you what was the reason why GEM was required. Okay. So in 2016 August, GEM was launched. The basic reason was that, let's say you are a manufacturer based in Delhi. Okay, when you bid for the opportunities which are invited by Delhi government, you get certain advantages like EMD is exempted for you. Okay, the bid security is exempted for you. Okay, or certain eligibility criteria is relaxed for you because you are a local bona fide manufacturer of Delhi, right? But let's say if you want to bid in Haryana or Rajasthan or Punjab, which is your neighboring state, which you can cater to. But when you want to go and bid there, you have to submit an earnest money deposit, okay, which is to the tune of 2 to 5%. Okay, so let's say if you are bidding for 2 crore worth of projects in a month, that means you need at least 4 lakh, 5 lakh rupees to be blocked in earnest money deposits. Okay, that's not a doable proposition for you. So the whole gamut of MSME was getting busted, right? So what this government did, they said, Haryana, you want to buy? Okay, you have your procurement policy which says earnest money deposit has to be given by the by any other MSME which is not from my state. Okay, you come to GEM. You come to GEM and buy from there. Now the seller is the buyer is gone to GEM. He has posed his requirement on GEM. The sellers are coming from across the country to GEM. Government of India gives every MSME a equal status. For them, whether you are from a Delhi, Haryana or Rajasthan, you get the exemption of EMD. So GEM पे आने से क्या हुआ? They said, okay, fine. Now, if you want to bid for projects of Haryana, Rajasthan, whichever other states, you get EMD exempted. Okay. Now what happened? That many state governments said this is wrong. We have got large manufacturing units. Why should we leave them? Okay, they get a benefit over here. Whatever little economy we have of our state, they are getting benefited. Okay, so why are you doing this? How will they survive? But then there were many states which don't have a very healthy economical situations within the state, which are smaller states. Okay, so then it was devised that 40% of your expenditure you will do it on GEM, 60% of your expenditure you will do it through your local portals where you are giving that leeway to your local manufacturer. Now imagine if I am in Delhi, maybe my 40% market has been taken off from me. Okay, but other 40% of 29 plus states has been added to me. Is that a bad proposition for me? Now, when you go to GEM, be it railways, be it defense, be it any body now, any state, all these government bodies, which are like 45,000 plus in number on GEM today, have to procure or have to spend 40% of their expenditure. How I can be more effective on GEM?
Ji.
Is that the question?
Yes. Two quick tips.
The very first thing in India problem is people don't want to get trained. Okay, half of the people think that they know how to bid on GEM, whereas they have done one or two bids and they will say we are experts now. Okay, we just met a client which is a 300 crore company into manufacturing of medical equipment. We met their team of GEM bidders, which was like 3 people, and they were not aware of a term called bunch bid. Many people are not aware of this. Lot many people even are not aware of this, that how to search for bid opportunities. Understand the business philosophy of why GEM, how GEM functions. Okay, and it's GEM is like a A380. Okay, to maneuver it, it is not by a flip. Okay, it takes its own time to do that. So we need to have that patience and we need to know that process. Probably he is not explored. Okay, so I'm not blaming him because we are too busy with things. Okay, so probably he can hire a professional who can either give them an orientation or take a hand holding from them for 2-3 bids, and then they will understand how things are working. Documentation. So when you're bidding for an opportunity, it asks for a lot of documentation. People do not understand that documentation. I'll give you an example. For example, in GEM says government experience 3 years. Okay. Now some people read it as government experience in the last 3 years. Some people read it as government experience which was more than 3 year old. Got it? So there is definitely a gap, a void left by GEM only. Okay. So to fill those kind of gaps, you attach both kind of documents. Okay. So in government, merely having a work order, if you have given me a work order, in government gives no value to that. It says, where is the completion certificate? Have you done the work? If the work was given to you for 100 rupees, have you executed the work for 100 rupees? Bring me a completion certificate. Now, for example, if we do not have a completion certificate, we can at least give a delivery challan, okay, or we can give a report, installation report, or we can give a bank statement that the payment was received. So everybody, especially in government, payment is only received when the work is 100% done, if the full payment has come to you. So there are various documentation which you need to be ready. So many times I have seen people even make mistakes in GEM. When you bid, Let's say I'm bidding for a Bluetooth speaker. Okay, in my product catalog, there are three Bluetooth speakers of different specifications. It picks up the nearest one. Okay, but it may not be complying fully. So you need to cross check it. People don't cross check that. So there are very small, I will say minor mistakes which people make. So again, my point is training.
I'm selling something on Amazon, how I put my product specking, reviews, video clips. I'm assuming something like that also will be applicable for Gem.
So in I have not dealt with Amazon, but I believe over there's nothing called a category. Okay, let's say if I want to upload a product, they simply sanitize it that it's a legally saleable product in the country, and then they put it on their portal. But in Gem, I have to fit that product in the specifications given by the Gem authorities. Okay, so let's say for example, I am selling smartphones. So Gem has given a screen size of let's say 5 inch, 5.5 inch, 5.25 inches. But if I want to put 5.37 inch, so I cannot select that because that's not industry standard. Every time vendors were only assessed. That vendor has given a quality product at a reasonable price. He's giving good after sales support. Okay. He's fulfilling all his warranty obligations, etc., etc., etc. Now on Gem, there is a process called buyer assessment. Okay, so in Gem, the general terms and conditions are standard for each bid. Now, when I say general terms and conditions, for example, payment terms. Okay, so payment is standard, sacrosanct with every bid. Within 10 days, they have to give the payment. They are not giving us a separate issue. But now Gem has introduced a rate of interest to be paid by the buyer if you don't pay it on time to the seller. So now what is happening is, I'll just tell you the process in brief. So let's say I've given a bid. I have got a contract from Gem. The moment I dispatch the goods, okay, the moment I dispatch the goods, I upload the invoice on Gem. Okay, so now the Gem system knows when I have dispatched the goods. The same invoice hard copy goes to the buyer, the consignee. Okay, once the consignee receives the goods, he puts his comments on the Gem that yes, I have received it, and there is something called as a CRAC which gets generated, which is consignee receipt and acceptance certificate. Okay, now after CRAC has been generated, the buyer is supposed to make the payment within 10 days. If the buyer is not making the payment within 10 days, the system is assessing the buyer and put them into a red or a orange color is marked to them. So red means the moment I say red, it means it will flash me that this buyer has not paid for more than 30 orders which for the material which he has received. Would you like to sell it to such a buyer? Right? So where was it happening earlier? Vendors you are assessing. Vendors are getting blacklisted. Vendors are getting banned. But here the buyer is getting assessed. Now what will happen? Let's say you are that buyer and you are not paying your suppliers for whatever reason. That means people will not bid now. In all circumstances, people will not bid. If people will not bid, what will happen to you? You won't be able to fulfill your buying targets. You won't be able to fulfill your 40% expenditure target on Gem. So it's just like a cycle, right? So you as a buyer have to perform.